10 minutes short, get ready to start. I tune up for your soul and your heart quick.
Hi teachers, when you come into the new website and you come under training, it'll take you right here. And I wanted to first of all just point out this podcast that's available now with about 7 or 8 episodes. You can pull that up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, whatever you like to go to listen to your podcasts. I highly recommend just picking and choosing ones that you have the time to listen to that catch your attention. They're all really, really well done. And I would highly recommend you try to listen to as many as you can before the school year starts. Just below that, here is our first of our summer training series calling the 10-minute tune-up. At least shoot for a little bit of time each week to spend trying to refine your teaching skills. And each week I'll focus on something that is relevant for that time period. So for example, this week, when you come under the 10-minute tune-up recommendations, you'll have a plan your seminary kickoff and seminary registration. Those are the 2 things I'd invite you to focus on this week, since it's the time to start thinking about it, whether or not you're going to do a seminary kickoff. When you click on that link, it'll take you into my Google Drive, and I've included right here a sample agenda as something just to consider possibly using as an agenda for your kickoff, just to give you some ideas. You're going to adapt this to your ward circumstances, and some of you already know what you like to do every year for this seminary kickoff, and others have never done a seminary kickoff. So this is just to give you an idea. Let me just run through this real quick with you. There's some possible dates. Saturday, August 23rd, if you want to do an activity afterwards, or perhaps Sunday directly after your block of meetings, or maybe you want to get together that night. I would just counsel with the bishop about the best time to do this seminary kickoff meeting. Have a devotional and let the youth run this devotional. Invite them in advance so that they can do a good job. And I've made a comment over here possibly involving some of the older youth so that they can set a good example for the younger youth about what a devotional should look like. I would start off talking about the objective of seminary, and I would use a toolbox analogy and comparing the objective of seminary and institutes to a toolbox. Now, when you click on the objective of seminary and institute, it'll take you right into the objective, and you can refresh yourself on what our objective is and how we're going to accomplish this purpose. So be familiar with that, but I think it's good for the parents to know that our objective is our focus. And so everything we talk about in this kickoff meeting should tie back into that. So the analogy I would use is I would have a toolbox there and talk about the importance of tools, but what role does a toolbox play? It's the thing that everything fits into. It's the thing that helps the tools from becoming rusty. It's the thing that protects the tools. So you're going to come up with probably a better analogy than that, but I would just tell parents and the youth that today, as we talk about attendance and some of these other things, it all ties back into the objective. That's our toolbox. And then jump in and talk about credit. With all of these, if you see them hyperlinked, you can go in and find some more information. For example, under credit, when you click on this, I would be familiar with this document that the church came out with, as you can see, December 18, 2024. And it goes into each of the requirements so that you can be very familiar with that as you go through this with the parents. So I would take some time and talk about the attendance being 75%. And along with attendance, you can talk to them about tardies and makeup work. One of our teachers, Brother Fulmer, made a wonderful video about tardies, and it would be worth watching before the seminary kickoff. And you may want to use parts of this and teach parts of this. You may even want to show part of the video to talk about the importance of being there on time. And hopefully this video will help give you some reasons to share with the parents about why it's so important to be on time. You can share with them whatever your makeup work plan is, what you've used in the past or what you plan on doing this year. You can talk about the doctrinal mastery learning assessment, that they need to be a part of that during the semester in order to get credit. And then also the required readings. Again, this will link you right to the list of required readings for each of the books in the 4 years that you'll be in seminary. Also, you could take them into the Gospel Library study plans and show them how to create a study plan for the required readings. And it has all of them right there. They're linked to the chapters or the sections, and then they can actually check it off as they do it and just let you know when they've completed the required readings. Here's the link to register for seminary. If it comes time for the kickoff and they still haven't registered their son or daughter, they can do it right here. Also, the idea of whether or not you're going to use paper scriptures or electronics or a hybrid approach. There's a great video again right here that goes into what are the pros and cons of each and what is the church's position on this. So if you click on that, you can watch that. And just make sure that you've decided before school starts or before this kickoff meeting which of the two you prefer. Make sure you're on board together as teachers if there's 2 of you as to your stance on paper versus electronics. Here are a few things you can go over with the parents and students while you got them all together so that you're on the same page concerning any parking instructions, the start time for seminary to make sure everybody's clear on that, snow days, how you'll communicate when seminary has been canceled, sick days, when students should probably come to seminary and when they shouldn't, depending on how sick they are, and your guidelines for them. Friday food days, if you do some kind of Friday food day or another day of the week, just to communicate that with the parents and students, and then what avenue you're going to use to communicate with the parents. So it's great to do that while you have them all there in that meeting. I would want to end with this: promises from a prophet for being enrolled in seminary. This link will take you into this YouTube video.
My dear young brothers and sisters,
you may be familiar with this video, but what I like about this one is it goes through, and as President Nelson gives a promise, it lists it off to the right. At the very end of the video, you've got a screen that you could pause if you wanted to talk about it with the students and parents, all these powerful promises from a prophet. So I would end with that and open it up to any questions that parents and the youth might have. And ideally, if you could end with a testimony from one of you or the bishop or perhaps a senior who has a strong testimony of the importance of seminary and the difference it's made in your life. You've got a great meeting right there. Brevity is going to be key, trying to touch on these just as brief as you can, but still to answer all the questions that parents and the youth might have. I hope you'll adopt this and then adapt it and make it your own. All of the videos that I referenced right there, right here in this Google Drive folder, as well as this one-page document about credit, tardiness, and makeup work, as well as the My Seminary link. So if you decide you could use that handout. Also, there is this reading chart. If you like it, you can use it. It has all the sections that they're required to read, as well as the second half of the Doctrine and Covenants if they want to read through all of that, as well as a spot they can set their personal goals. So the second item for the week is just seminary registration. Again, that'll take you into a Google Drive folder where you have a paper registration form in case any parents aren't able to access the registration material online. They can just fill this out and send that to Sister Thompson, and she can get them registered into your class. Also, if parents aren't sure how to go online and do it, I've created this brief video that'll just walk the parents right through how to register their son or daughter. You're welcome to use this in your seminary kickoff meeting, or you could just send this link out to parents and they can watch it on their own. It's better if you can go to the online version of it, and that's in my YouTube channel, the Christ-Centered Teaching and Learning. Under videos, you'll see it right here, the seminary registration videos. This is a much higher quality video, and it will just take them right through step-by-step how to register their youth for seminary. In the coming weeks, I'll have more of these 10-minute tune-ups with some links of things that you can go to. Let me know what questions you have as you go through this website. Again, it's new. I'm still working on it and learning how to use it and build it. So let me know what questions you have and anything that you hope I'll include in a future 10-minute tune-up.